Jump, jump, all my young homie. All my young homie, jump, 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 all my young homie. Jump, 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 jump.
Great. All right, let's try that again. Excited to be back for our live office hours. It's been a few weeks since we've done it because I've been extremely busy. I've done a 4-part webinar series for anyone that is serious about achieving financial freedom through real estate investing. We broke down in detail the path to financial freedom through real estate investing, how to analyze deals and maximize your returns through the co-living rent by the room rental strategy, how to consistently find great deals and raise money, right? Get capital partners for those deals. And then my super investor cheat code, how it helps basically accelerate everything so you can more effectively achieve the financial goals that you want, right? The goal isn't to take as long as possible to achieve your result. So get there as quickly and efficiently as possible, get what you want, and then move on with your life and enjoy it, not just be a real estate investor on the pursuit for the entirety of your life, right? That would be a silly goal. You're not trying to build yourself an indefinite job, right? And that's a big reason why today's topic comes on the back of conducting those 4 webinars. And then I spend a whole week in Monterey, California, actually right near where I live, with a mastermind community that I'm part of, Owners Club, which is a small subset of the Sub 2 community with Pace Morby. So that's why today's topic, I feel like it'd be really relevant to talk about investing in education so that you are not wasting your time. This is something huge in my opinion. Like, one thing you have to realize is that you have resources in life and your resources vary. Some of those resources are money. Some of those resources are time. There's a variety of resources that you have in life, but the one resource that is absolutely finite, you will never get back, and every second is lost, is time. So if you can make money and exchange it to save time to achieve the results that you want, that is a no-brainer. Not everyone is in the position in which they have money available to invest to free up their time or to reduce the time it takes to accomplish their goal. Hopefully that sits with you. I understand not everyone is in the right position to invest money to either save them time, free up their time, like Dan Martell's, right? Buy back your time. He makes a very clear case as to why you should be able to outsource no matter where you're at in your journey of life, in your financial situation. There's some things that you can quite literally free up your time very quickly because you'll never get that time back. And that same time could then be used to enjoy your life more or achieve more of your result that you're looking for, whatever that is. For me, obviously, I'm always looking to free up my time to be able to buy and hold more real estate, generate more cash flow, right, for the pursuit of financial freedom. But that's not really what it's about. What it's really about is so that I have more time so that I can spend with my family, being a great and present father and husband, not being forced to miss out on areas of life that I truly care about and I'm passionate, which is my family, being able to take advantage of amazing adventures, opportunities, things like that, even those that are last minute at times. I don't want to be the one that has to say no to take advantage of these things, as well as being able to help other people. Those are my big why. So I invest to free up my time so I can focus more on those things, right? Hopefully that makes sense. That's buying back your time. However, if your goal is so that you can be financially free or buy real estate or whatever your goal is, like the financial side, whatever you can do to reduce the time it takes to achieve that goal or to do it with less risk or time, that is the goal. That is like the goal. That's what you should be investing in. So make sure that the education, what you're investing time and money into is actually helping you achieve that. And so that's the main concept of today. Invest in education. Don't waste your time. And this comes perfectly coming out of the Owners Club retreat, where I'm going to highlight some of the key reasons why it's so important to invest in your education if you're available to. There is a ton of free education. I do this for free. I have my free Wealth, the real estate school community. I'll drop a link in the chat for anyone that's interested, where it's got free courses, tools, other resources to help you get started on your real estate investing journey, right? So there's a bunch of free resources as well. My mentor does this better than most people, where he provides tons of free education and resources. But if you have the ability to invest in yourself to reduce your time to achieve your goals, you should be really thinking through that perspective. That's what the whole point of investing is, right? I hope you understand that, because this is the one resource you cannot get back. You can always earn more money, and the goal of investing in the right education is that you then are able to make even more than you would have otherwise and enjoy the process more. So why relevant, right? Just came out of Owners Club, a retreat, like a mentorship, a mastermind that I pay significant amounts of money for. Every single year, this was an annual, the most expensive one that I'm part of, because it provides me massive benefits. And let's get into what those benefits are when you're investing in education. Most people think that when they're investing in education, they're investing in training. And that's not wrong. For example, those that join Super Investors, there is a phenomenal step-by-step blueprint education component to it. Here are the trainings. This is what you're paying for, is trainings and courses and tools and resources and whatever. Yes, that is a component of it, but that cannot be the only thing. That's not, education is not just the trainings. That's not what's holding the majority of people back. One of the biggest things is, yes, the right education, the right strategies, tools, and resources can and will fast track your journey if you are willing and committed to actually taking action. That then allows you to live your life on your own terms more quickly, right? If you have the right education, the right steps, the right blueprint, and you're following it, you're not out here being uncertain, taking the wrong actions, putting yourself in a bad position because you took on more risk than you should have. The education is a critical component, but that's just one of the many things. One of the most important things for the majority of us is just being in the right room. This means being in a room where you are surrounding yourself with people who are ahead of you, people who push you to new levels. The unfortunate reality is that the majority of people currently in your life, in your circle, in your current bubble, are not going to be able to help you on your path to freedom. If anything, they're actually potentially going to be a massive detriment on your journey. That's just the reality. Why? Because if you are truly serious about investing in real estate, you are already in a tiny percentage of the population willing to do so. Not just talk about it, but actually do so. And then if you want to achieve the result of financial freedom and generational wealth through real estate investing, that's an even smaller percentage that will ever achieve those results or are committed enough to pursue this long enough to actually get that result. I am fortunate that I've been able to massively fast track my journey to financial freedom in less than 5 years, starting from 7 years ago, just getting the inspiration for real estate investing, 5 years ago, buying my first deal, and then now scaling to over $20 million of real estate and financial freedom that will then continue compounding generational wealth. That's not necessarily normal for everyone. You'll realize that actually is not normal for the majority of people. However, it is possible, obviously, and I'm not the first person to do it. I'm not the last person to do it. My mentor, Pace Morby, essentially created his entire sub-2 community in the last 5 years. And he's done things insanely so. So it's all possible. It's all realistic to do, but understand only a tiny percentage of people would do so. A big part of that is having the right knowledge and education, but an even bigger part of that is surrounding yourself with people who are not just at your level to help with accountability and do the journey together, but it's also people who are ahead of you in the game who then help push you to new levels and show you what is truly possible. The fact of the matter is the people in your current life, in your current social circle, more likely family, existing friends, coworkers, this is not a reality to them. This is not something they ever think about. This is not something they think is possible. The reality that they understand, the reality they've been conditioned to understand for the entirety of their life is go to school, get a degree, get a job, work for someone else for the next 40 plus years, and then maybe you'll be able to retire with a few $1,000s a month and then enjoy your life, right? They sacrifice the majority of the middle of their life on this pursuit of making their company wealthy, making the owners of their company wealthy, In exchange, they're exchanging their time for money for this long journey to hopefully be free in the future. That is just normal. I have this saying that this, in theory, that being able to buy a house, some cars, all that good stuff, that's the American dream. To me, that's always been the American nightmare. Doesn't mean I don't want those results. I just don't believe that that's the path for someone like me, and it wasn't. And I was so driven by that. The reality of it is a lot of people, that's what they've done their whole life. Regardless of where you're at in your journey, if you didn't discover this in your 20s like I did and achieve it before you turn 30 like I did, and you're already 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, okay, fine. As I said, time is finite. It's gone. If you didn't do this and have the accessibility, like I'm fortunate with the accessibility of information, with the drive and all the information out there. Like I was fortunate timing, right place, right time in history, all these various things. And my drive in combination has allowed me to achieve this very quickly and early. And that may not have been the case for you. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is you cannot go back and change anything in your life up to this point. You got to just be grateful for the journey that you've accomplished up to this point and understand, starting today, 5 years from now, whatever happens, 5 years from now, that day is going to come. Hopefully you're alive for it, obviously, right? There's the reality that anything can happen, obviously. But 5 years from now is going to pass anyway. It is July 2nd, 2025. 5 years from now will be July 2nd, 2030. The question is, regardless of your age, regardless of where you're at, are you going to make sure that in 5 years from now, you have made the progress you wanted to towards your goals? Because that 5 years is going to pass. So are you going to make the progress that you want over the next 5 years? Are you going to have the desired results that you want in the next 5 years by putting in the right strategy and plan now, and then taking the right actions today and every day moving forward to achieve those results? Does that mean you're going to be perfect and it's going to be this linear, perfect journey? No, that's not how it works. But are you going to say, I'm here, my goal is here, and I'm going to consistently it's going to ebb and flow and ups and downs and lefts and rights and all that. But are you going to start making progress towards that goal so the line does look linear over that period of time? That's ultimately up to you to decide and understand. The strategy and the education is a big component of that, because the majority are not even enlightened to the possibility of this, let alone the right way to go that route. And then on top of that, they don't believe it's possible because they're not the ones, like all the people here live right now, they're not the ones investing their time, money, and energy into pursuing things like this because A, they don't believe it's real, or that's just not the way they operate. And that's fine. The majority will always operate that way, and that's okay. It's okay to be the minority. One of the big takeaways, one of the big things that Pace mentioned at the Owners Club retreat, all of us on this pursuit, we are not normal. We don't want to be normal. We literally are pursuing something that is not normal in everyday life. We are pursuing something that we're going to have we're going to have a very extraordinary life because we are putting in more effort than most are willing to. They are choosing the comfort of a very practical life, right? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me and for a lot of you guys, that is not what you want to do. You are willing to invest your time, money, and energy into learning, taking action, constantly facing new challenges, new problems, uncertainty, leveling yourself up consistently, a path of uncomfortableness for the next X number of years so that you can live a life on your own terms for the remainder of it, rather than be comfortable for the next 40-ish years, working for someone else, taking a little bit of time off, right, over those next 4 years to then maybe be fine, maybe have Social Security or whatever, if it exists in the future, providing you a couple $1,000s a month so that you can then be like, enjoy the rest of your life. Really, it's comfortable for 40 years, comfortable being safe for 40 years to then be pretty much uncomfortable for the remainder of your life, or be uncomfortable by choice for a couple of years now to achieve a comfortable life for the rest of your life, a life based on your own terms. And understand what I'm saying to you may not seem crazy, but to the majority it is. That is why it is so hard to improve yourself if your only social circle, if your only circle of influence are family, friends, coworkers, whatever, that are either A, don't believe this is possible, B, are naysayers, or like C, they haven't done it, right? But everyone has an opinion. It's almost the people who have the least amount of information or knowledge or have not achieved the thing have the biggest opinions and are the most vocal about it. That's fine. That's why I don't talk about it with family, friends, whatever, because I don't care. Who I talk about this with is other investors, especially those who are doing the things that I'm doing, or they're doing it at a higher level and I want to learn from them through them. Or I'm talking to people who are on this path and that might be behind me, but I want to give them a helping hand to accelerate their own journey. Those are the people you should be talking about this stuff with. You want to talk about the pool party with your family, or you want to talk about football with your friends, cool, that's the perfect place. But combining money and the pursuit of real estate investing and financial freedom with those that don't believe in the concept, are not willing to put in the work, or just will be naysayers, why waste your time doing so? That is why it is so important when you are investing in your education, including being in the right rooms. You have this major advantage because you are in a room of people who not only believe it's possible, they're putting in the work, and there's a lot of people way ahead of you that will help pull you forward. They're not going to push you. No one's going to force you to do anything, but they will pull you forward with their momentum and the knowledge and the lessons learned that they have had. This is a huge one for me, especially when I started my investing journey, because I didn't have that. And then as soon as I joined my first free local real estate investment group in Fairbanks, Alaska, within months, I bought my first property. It was over a year and a half of learning and analysis and all that stuff before I was able to actually take action, because I surrounded myself with people who were doing the thing that I wanted to do. When you're doing that and you're paying to be part of communities and education and masterminds and all that, that is a big part of it. It's not the motivational speaker that's on stage, right? That's cool. That's cool. Don't get me wrong. I loved that Tim Story was there and Marcus Lemonis, and I had phenomenal exchanges with them and all that good stuff. Took nice photos. Love that. But it's really the people you are in the room with that are then going to become your friends, your partners, the lifelong relationships that you build to then take your things to the absolute next level. Hopefully that's a big part of it. It's not just education. It's not just the speakers on stage. It's the people in that room that are saying, I don't want a normal life. I want an extraordinary life, and I'm going to put in abnormal amount of work right now to achieve that. You want to be surrounded with people like that on your path to freedom, because what you're trying to pursue, real estate investing and truly freedom and generational wealth, is very tiny population actually accomplish that. Increase your odds by putting yourself in the right rooms with those people. That's a big one. Okay. As I mentioned, some of the personal benefits. For me in particular, there's a lot of education, knowledge, information, all of that good stuff that comes from being part of rooms like this. For example, for me, I'm at kind of a different stage. I've been part of these communities. I've grown myself into leadership roles by providing other people lots of value. The way that I primarily do that, just what has always come natural to me as a helper, I'm naturally just a helper and want to help other people on their path, is I learn stuff. Like I invest in my own education, all that stuff. I then learn it, right? I don't just say I'm going to pay for it and just waste my time. I learn that thing. I implement that in my business. I improve it. And then I share that with other people. That is very natural for me. And that tends to be a great trait for a leader. And I've essentially every room that I've been part of, I tend to end up in some leadership responsibility, some leadership role. And I'm here for that. I love helping other people. And I'm grateful for those that elevate me and believe in me and allow me to help them on their journey, as well as my mentors who help elevate me as well. So I get a lot of benefit from this, and then I get to help a lot of other people at these events. Just some personal breakaways, some personal things for me that I was able to accomplish at this event. I led over, dozens of real estate investors in a 3+ hour mastermind training session focused exactly on buying and holding real estate, like talking about acquisition strategies, talking about deal structuring, capital raising, co-living, my exact journey, my step-by-step journey, as transparently as I could possibly be, partnerships, all these various things, so that people can learn from my progress and then implement it and fast track their path. I actually ended up recording that training. So if you want that 3+ hours exclusive to the Owners Club, a highly paid mastermind community, Obviously, super investors will get access to that as well. They always do. If you want access to that recording, message me on Instagram at Michael MNAT. Message me on Instagram and let me know, and I'll get you that recording. 3+ hours. I will send it over to you. That was one big thing for me. Great. It was awesome. In addition, I had a pretty, I don't know if you know Marcus Lemonis or not, huge business guy, done a lot of incredible things. I had a pretty awesome exchange with him in front of everyone in the room of hundreds of people. It was incredible. It was really, he was asking about cash on cash return and some investing stuff, a lot of back and forth and explaining. It was really cool to have that exchange. And you can't do that in most day-to-day life. Those interactions don't happen. Those opportunities to meet people like that don't happen unless you're in these rooms. Being in these rooms and then being a leader or being someone who provides value allowed me the opportunity in this scenario to then be able to have this exchange with him in front of everyone. It was maybe not once in a lifetime, but a very unique experience and opportunity. And I'm grateful for that. I get a lot of gratitude when things like that happen because it's like, wow, I can't believe everything had to line up so perfectly for then this opportunity to exist and I get to be part of it. That was a cool exchange for me. Two other big things that for me personally that were so freaking huge was, I don't know if you're familiar with Tim's story, but he is like the coach of coaches, the coach, like the mentor, the mindset, the everything to so many high level people, including Oprah Winfrey and so many others. Like literally he goes around the entire world educating people at such a high level. And he said something that like punched me in the soul is probably the best way to say it. He verbalized a concept, something that feels so normal and natural to me, but I was never able to verbalize myself. He said, I know what it's like to feel lost. That is why I care so deeply about helping others find their way. I know what it's like to feel lost. That's why I care so deeply about helping others find their way. That resonates with me so much because everything that I try to do is, who was I when I was learning something and implementing it? Who is that person that then needed to learn that thing and implement it? How can I help that person behind me? That person when I was 7 years ago, just starting my journey, 5 years ago, struggling to get my first deal and then buying it. And then every step of the way as I continue to grow and scale. That is why I go out of my way so much to provide so much, I'll say valuable education, so much of it for free, because for me, I care. I care about helping people as much as possible. And unfortunately, the content that I make, the education, all that stuff will never be high viewership. It's not viral content per se, but it is so valuable to those that learn and take action from it. We just had someone highlight that they use the free bird dog training that I included in my Wealth the Real Estate community, not just to make $5,000 or $10,000. They were able to find a very, call them a shark buyer, someone who has a lot of capital to deploy. And they were able to leverage the trainings, find this buyer. I was not the buyer on this deal, find a buyer, connect them to the right deal that then is getting them a $130,000 payday. They did that through the free education. That is insane. That is such an incredible achievement for them. I am so proud of them for putting in the time and effort and work to learn, then execute, and to achieve those results. That is just amazing. That's why I do a lot of this stuff. I want to help those that are on their path to be able to achieve whatever they're looking for, regardless of their current circumstance. I do have my super investor community, paid community, right? This is very different for real estate investors that are looking to scale to financial freedom, whether they're stuck through deal flow, analysis, they're limited to their own capital, they haven't figured out capital raising yet, and or they want to implement the co-living management strategy, the rent by the room strategy, to maximize all of their cash flow, minimize their path to financial freedom, shorten that time frame, and build much more wealth along that journey with less risk. That's what Super Investors is for. It is not for everyone. It's not the right place for everyone right now. That's why I provide so much free education to help people on their journey, because I know what it was like to feel lost. I didn't know where to go to. I went to books and podcasts and this, and I was alone in a lot of this journey. And now I've created a free community with tons of tools, education, resources, a community of almost 1,400 members collaborating, working together on these pursuits. That is an incredible feeling. That's why I create and continue to do the things that I do, because I know what it's like to know that I did not want to work the rest of my life for someone else to then end up with little to nothing and have wasted the entirety of my life. Regardless of where you're at in your journey, that's how I felt about it. And that's why I was so driven to accomplish all this stuff. But I was very lost in the various stages. Thankfully, through the right education, mentorship, and my own perseverance and hustle and work ethic, I was able to achieve my results. It feels only natural to me that I help other people on their journey with the things that I've been able to learn and do so that they can pursue the life of their dreams at the end of the day. And if it helps a few more people make some more money and join super investors, awesome byproduct, because then that will then help them achieve their financial freedom goals even quicker and a more streamlined path. Awesome. But the way that he verbalized it was huge. And I've never heard anyone say it like that. Or even if they have, maybe I was not in the right place or the right time and the right mindset for it to hit me so hard. But it hit me when he said that. It hit me so hard. Because another piece of this, which is something I always like, it's incredible that Mr. Jamil Damji is a big part of Pace Morby's journey. And he's a big part of Owners Club, right? A co-mentor in Owners Club. And he was a big part of the masterminds that were put on in Sub 2, because Jamil led a meditation and mindset, meditation and breath work session. And this was the second time I've ever done something like this. The first time was in 2023 at the Sub 2 Mastermind, the last one they ever hosted. I was part of it. It actually wasn't Jamil that led it, but it was a breathwork exercise. I forgot her name, but it's Cody Sperber's ex-wife. She's like, this is what she does, breathwork. And it was actually one of the most impactful things I've ever done in my life. This is kind of funny coming, like when people hear this from someone like me, who's not necessarily, like I help people with mindset and all that, but it's not like the main focus area. I'm not the one who's like a mindset coach or whatever, but it's innate. It's a part of the journey. It's a big part of the journey nonetheless. But I'm more of, what's the strategy? What's the work I got to do? Let me implement that. Let me get my results. And my drive for a lot of this was because I wanted to grow and raise a family in which I would be able to be as present as possible for them. That drive was enough for me to overcome a lot of, or minimize a lot of mindset issues along this journey. Because as you continue to learn and execute and level up and level up and level up and level up, there's a lot of mindset stuff that comes in with that. A lot of limiting beliefs. Like, should I be doing, am I capable of this? A lot of imposter syndrome. Am I, like, all these different mindset issues, and you're uncomfortable as you continue to grow and scale in these journeys, especially as quickly as I have done it. So then taking some time at this mastermind, this real estate event, to then do breath work, to completely pause, to complete alter the way that you are taking in and out oxygen, and to just really reflect and be led on this journey for 45 plus minutes was huge for me. It actually brought up a lot of mindset issues, ironically enough, that I suppressed. I truly suppressed a lot of it because my goal was so strong to start my family, but then to make sure if I was going to, I'd be in the right position for that. I was going to be in the right financial and time position so I can enjoy my life with my family. I suppressed a lot of these things, a lot of stuff throughout the entirety of my life because I was so determined for this goal. However, that's not necessarily ideal or advantageous, and that's why I talk a lot about it now. That's one of those big things I learned along my journey that gets to help other people as well. Don't suppress this stuff. Understand this is a reality. Work on this stuff because it'll only make you a better investor and it'll allow you to enjoy your journey more so. So doing this breath work at the end of 2023 really allowed me to completely shift my real estate investing business by realizing I don't have to do everything. This was one of the first times where I really reflected on how much I was personally doing, and a lot of things I was doing because I was doing it already. But it's okay to stop things. It's okay for me as a wholesaler at the time to say, I'm done wholesaling because all I care about is buying and holding assets, because I care about the financial freedom, the passive income, the wealth that comes from owning assets. Wholesaling doesn't get me there. Maybe it makes me more active income. Maybe I can buy a few of my deals. Great. However, if I shift my mindset and think more about leverage and how I can leverage to get more deals and to buy more of my deals using other people's money, and to just focus on the parts of the business I care about, hiring an operator to offload a lot of the tasks that did not make a lot of sense for me, it was huge for me. So that was a huge component of it. And that allowed me to scale massively since 2023 until now. And then doing this breath work, this time with Jamil at this event with all the awesome Owners Club members, was another massive breakthrough for me, I guess. It allowed me to once again kind of pause and reflect as someone who's so used to doing and nonstop working and pushing things forward. It allowed me to pause and reflect on what are the areas of my business, once again, that I feel like I'm doing because I feel like I have to, but maybe it does not align with the things I want to do, or it's not the highest and best use of my time, or maybe this was a big one, like where are the partnerships that I need to develop, the relationships I need to develop to then take things to the next level and provide people even more value and to work more so with others rather than, I work with people, I help people, but nonetheless, like, what are those things that I can do to take things to the next level that are not going to just require me to put in more time? Once again, leverage is a big part of this whole thing. And another big reflection for me, this is going to sound crazy to you guys, because like, Michael, you're live streaming, you have YouTube and all this stuff. Because of a lot of issues and traumas and this and that, this phrase keeps running through my head. To achieve the goals that I want, to help as many people as I want, my Everest of helping 10,000 real estate investors achieve financial freedom through my super investors community. And on top of that, helping 1 million plus more in some way on their real estate investing journey. The only way to do that is to be as visible as possible. However, I am quite literally struggling with things at the same time because sometimes I feel afraid to be seen, right? It's like, it's this thing. We're not used to being public. And when I go up and speak in front of hundreds of people, like multiple times, or lead all these trainings or sessions or webinars and all these things, people think, oh, you're doing great. You must be a natural. You love this stuff. Yeah, to an extent, I do. I love being able to help a lot of people. However, at the same time, it is a hard thing to do. And that's not the way I was brought up. That's not the way I was raised. Money was not something that we talk about. These kinds of things are not things we talk about. When we have people like Aaron Davies, who says, someone trying to get idiots to buy a course so they can scam you, just go off this YouTube channel, doing your own research. Awesome. This is what happens when you make yourself more visible and you truly care about helping other people. I'm thankful and grateful that a lot of people have seen my journey in real time. They have quite literally seen me buy deal after deal after deal. They have seen me help hundreds of people, if not thousands of people at this point, for free, help them on their path to freedom. I am grateful and thankful for that. But then there's the reality of people like Aaron and others who then take stuff like that and then they think, oh, it's all a scam, it's an issue, whatever. I don't really care. That's what you expose yourself to. And you have to just say, that's the reality of stuff like this. Aaron, God bless you, bro. I hope no one hurt you too much. I hope you take all your negative energy and you twist it around and you actually make something positive with your life. You're right. There is a lot of free education that you can leverage. The majority of my start came from free education. I quite literally tell people there is so much value for free. I create massive amounts of education tools and resources, create a whole free community for so many people so they can help, so they can have a more streamlined path from someone who's done the thing that they're trying to do. And I understand what you're saying, Aaron, is not a reflection on me or the value I provide to people. I understand someone hurt you. You're dealing with trauma. Maybe you've been scammed. Maybe you don't know what you're doing. You feel lost. I'm sorry, bro. I really genuinely feel bad for you. But luckily, you are able to take that, repackage it, and then hopefully make something positive with your life and help other people as well. Honestly, I truly hope that is the case for you, brother. If not, keep commenting like it's a good use of your time or whatever. Appreciate you, bro. It's a great example of what I'm talking about. Is like the perfect timing. The understanding that I have to be more visible is a very uncomfortable thing for someone like me, even though I enjoy talking. But then as you become more visible, there's just negativity that comes with that at times. Thankfully, the positive effect I have on other people and the results I see other people accomplish drives me so much. It's okay. And that was a big revelation for me at this, going through this breath work. This is just what I'm asking for. I am grateful for these problems because I am asking for these problems. If you are someone who is constantly trying to level up and do things that very few people are actually doing, right? It's very easy for the naysayers to then make it harder, make it more difficult, right? But it's just understanding that this is just the real. I mean, like, this is just the reality of what happens, right? Like, I wonder what we could do. Put user in timeout. Ooh. Done something like that. That is cool. But this is the reality of it. And if I am choosing to continue growing and scaling my portfolio, if I'm choosing to help more people, get more comfortable on social media, all those things, I have to understand the reality of it. The true reality of this is that if I am not choosing comfort and I'm choosing to constantly grow, there's going to be new problems. There's going to be new mindset issues. There's going to be new leveling up, new skills to learn, new all these things. But I'm asking for that. So when that is the reality, all I can do is be grateful that I'm not in this repeat cycle of dealing with the same problem year over year, decade over decade, until my life is over and I live a life of regret. I am asking to level up constantly. I'm asking to do new things, harder things, because I know the result of it is absolutely worth it. So going into this, understand that that's the reality. So then do everything in your favor to expedite your journey and to put yourself in the right rooms with the right people that then propel you and push you forward and help elevate you. And then be grateful when you have new challenges again and again and again, because you will not understand. You will not know every single step of the process that's to come for the rest of your life. That's why people are frozen. They want to understand everything. You can do your best to be as prepared as possible. However, you have to understand you're not going to know everything. That's why it's important to invest in your education, invest being in the right rooms with the right people, so that when things come up, you are better able to handle those. And when these are hard challenges, you have gratitude going into these experiences and saying, I wanted a life like this because I want abnormal results with my life. And that's okay. That's what you're signing up for. So what I chose to sign up for. And I understand if I want to have the impact, I need to be more visible. And that's going to lead to a whole lot of other issues. And that's okay, because I'll address those. I'll learn those. I'll figure it out on my journey. Same for you guys on your pursuit of real estate investing and financial freedom, regardless of where you're at in your investing journey. All right. Another huge thing, right? We were able to lead a massive meetup. I think the largest ever meetup in Monterey, California, for real estate investors. Over 100 people attended, myself and my co-host, my Monterey crew, which was incredible. This is the first one we've done collectively, like with me included at this meetup. We're able to combine owners club investors plus, hundreds of owners club investors were in town, with people who drove hours to come hang out. Pace Morby showed up, which was amazing. Thank you, Pace, for showing up to our meetup, providing value to people. But really, all the real collaboration, this is something Pace taught me, right, a couple of years ago. The reason why he shows up but then also leaves, so that people don't just surround him, because there's a lot he can teach people, but really it's about collaborating and networking with each other and doing deals with each other and doing as much as you can collaboratively, building your accountability groups, building your relationships, and succeeding together, right? And that's not the mentor, that's not the leader, that's not that person that you're necessarily going to have the most impact from. It's with each other. And that's where these meetups are so huge. So that is why there's so much free stuff that you need to put yourself as part of. When I say invest in education, it's not always time, right? It's time and money. It's time, it's money, it's all these different things. But showing up to these meetups, free meetups, showing up to free trainings, free courses, taking advantage of free YouTube content, all of that stuff, that is all helping you on your journey and surrounding yourself with the right people. If you have naysayers in your life, it's okay. If they are part of your normal life, that's fine. But then you need to find the right people that will then make you feel okay with this new challenge you're putting on, that you're partaking on in your life. And once again, people who are so many steps ahead of you that then help you see what's possible and even propel you forward. Take advantage of all the free stuff that's out there. But at the same time, it makes sense for some people who have said, hey, I'm doing a thing, I need the right skills, the right community, whatever, to level up. I would not be where I'm at in my journey without paying for the sub-2 community. Truly. When I joined, I had around a $2 million portfolio, primarily through house hacking and some off-market deal finding and seller financing. I was doing creative financing, but maybe not in the most strategic way at that point. I was able to do some cool stuff, but I saw the turn. Interest rates were going up. Prices were still incredibly high. I needed more tools in my tool belt. When I joined Sub2, I joined specifically for the goal of adding more tools to my tool belt, more education, more knowledge. Well, what I got out of it, that was the least impactful part. Yes, I learned a ton about creative financing, mastering deal analysis, all of these various things. I learned a lot of that stuff and I implemented it in my business to then end up accelerating my path to freedom, right? 10xing in the last 2.5 years. I was able to do that because of investing in my education so that I can achieve those results in such a short amount of time. That's a big part of this whole process. And the reality of it is, it's not just education. It's like the community is a huge element of it. The community element is a huge element of it. Being part of these groups and these people actually doing the thing is a huge part of it. The unfortunate reality, here's another one. Kyron, right? Like there's so many negative people and naysayers out there that will try to push you down because they are, I don't know if it's their lack of confidence, their lack of follow through. They tend to spend more time instead of investing in their education and themselves to pursue the results that they want. They shit post on YouTube and Twitter and whatever. And that's great. If their goal is to be the best comedian or whatever they want, I don't really understand. If that's their goal to do that, they're obviously putting in the right actions to achieve that goal. If you are serious about achieving the goals that you want, put yourself in the right rooms, get yourself educated, make the most of the people who have done the thing that you want to do, make the most of that, learn from them, and scale yourself to the next level, right? Whatever that looks like, wherever you're at in your investing journey. A lot of people take advantage of all the free stuff that's out there. Invest your time and energy into taking advantage of that and taking your journey to the next level. There was a lot of questions. I'm happy to do some Q&A. That's pretty much wrapping up the main takeaways from the last 2 weeks between the education that I provided, the webinars. If you want access to those webinars, all that is free. If you want access to those, send me a message on Instagram. Let's see, link. You're more than welcome to just send me a DM. I'll send you those webinars that I did, all free education, free training. I do talk about my super investors community in there at the very end, but you will get so much value from just the education. I pretty much tell the majority, I don't think you're in the right position to join super investors. So don't worry about that, right? The few that are, awesome. Let's have a conversation, see if super investors make sense for you. For the majority, take advantage of all the free stuff out there, all the people trying to help you, or the education that you've already invested in. Help let that take you to the next level. Okay. With that being said, I drop my Instagram. If you want those webinars, reach out to me. More than welcome to help you guys out. Provide those webinars. The 3-hour masterclass that I did for buy and hold investing, going through my journey, all of that stuff at the Owners Club Mastermind. I'm happy. That's my content, so it's not like exclusive to that. I'm sharing that as well. So if you want that, it's going to be on my YouTube. So you're more than welcome to get access to all that stuff. This is like a lot. These people are kind of crazy. They're coming in full force. I guess that's it. So if you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for the next 10 minutes. Otherwise, we can wrap today up and then we'll get back to kind of the normal schedule for a lot of this stuff, where it is very focused on deal analysis, Q&A, and just helping you guys with whatever questions you have, whether it's creative financing in general, whether it's here, maybe we should put some of the positivity up. I mean, like this has been a thing of years of providing people value. Like we'll put some positive. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for all the positive comments. Thank you, Amy. Thank you to everyone who has been very positive, who's been seeing my journey literally live, like literally deal after deal after deal, analysis and training and everything that I've done live. You guys have, no one's had a better freaking front row seat than the majority of people that are here. But if you guys would like what we do on these live office hours, deal analysis, answering your questions, whether it's focused on kind of game plan for whether you're bird dogging, buying deals, capital connecting, capital raising, whatever, acquisition strategies, kind of the stuff that I recommend, whatever you're working on, helping you structure deals, helping you renegotiate deals if you have a creative finance opportunity, but it's not quite there yet, helping you with your capital raising strategies, helping you with whatever you pretty much need, whatever that looks like honestly, I'm here to help you guys as much as possible during these sessions. Obviously, you can always post in the Wealth Through Real Estate School community. I'm happy to help you guys in there as well, all with whatever you need. But this live Q&A is a huge part of helping you guys out as much as you can. So if you need help with deal structuring, creative financing, capital raising, co-living, any of that stuff, I'm here to help you. Okay, so Eddie said, let's see what Eddie said. He said on Instagram, so I can't put it live on here, but he said, I have an opportunity for a potential co-living or group home I own in the middle of renovating. Is it okay to post here and maybe review options here? Yes, Eddie. He posts his Montgomery, Alabama deal under conversion to 9-bedroom, 4-bath. So that's already a great start. Like, let me explain co-living at the highest level. Co-living essentially is putting multiple different parties in one home, right? And there's a variety of subsections within co-living. There's a lot of niche down categories, and I'll explain which one's the one that I do primarily. But one of them that he mentioned is group homes. So group homes can be like sober living homes, recovery centers, that kind of stuff. So really you're helping people who are transitioning out, help them on their recovery journey. There are some that are assisted living facilities. These are ones that you're providing them more like medical care and support. Those are two things that I do not do. I do sober living homes or even rent my properties out to assisted living home operators. I'm not the operator for that. I take my house and I rent it out to people who will do that. And that's a phenomenal strategy. It's just not what I personally do. The type of co-living that I do is rent. Art mentioned group home for autism. There's so many different types of group homes that you could do. My man Chino Monte in Nevada, in Las Vegas, is doing it to help. Well, the various ones. People do it a lot for like different causes. He's doing to help like homeless veterans. He does a lot of other things for that. People are doing like domestic violence victims. Some of them are doing like the Golden Girls model where you're bringing people in who are placed out of. Chris, I got you. I see your comments, Chris. I will message you after this for the calculator. You should already have the new version of the calculator, but I will definitely make sure that you got it. They're doing it for like people who are, I don't know how to say this, elderly care essentially, but it's not care. No, it's not. It's not like elderly care. They're doing it in a model in which it's catered towards a specific audience of people. Let's say older women, this Golden Girl style, older women that want a sense of community, a community-driven shared housing, which is a big strategy around people. A lot of people are doing that community-driven one. The one that I primarily do is I am providing housing for either young working professionals primarily, or those that are under the $75,000 or less of income per year, to then providing them an affordable housing option. A lot of my type of people are those young working professionals where it's a little bit more of an elevated house, where it tends to be the where it tends to be like we buy a short-term rental that someone failed to operate successfully, convert that into rent by the room or co-living in great markets, great properties, and people are paying to be in a house of others like that to have a really cool, great house, but they want to save on their rent as much as possible, and they go the co-living route, the rent by the room route. The other category is those that are making typically between $30,000 to $75,000 a year. It's a lot of, we have healthcare professionals, blue collar workers of all types, contractors, airline workers. It really depends on where your property is located. A ton of military personnel, as a veteran myself, a lot of military personnel as well, and things like that, where they are just trying to save money on housing as much as possible so they can actually use their money to invest or enjoy their life. There is a huge category of people that are making up to $75,000 a year, and they're spending at least a third, if not half of their income every single month on just housing and utilities. Once you account for their car, food, insurance, all these things, they have little to no money left over to spend and enjoy their life, or little to no money to invest on their path to their own home ownership, or on their path to save investing for whatever they really want to do, whether it's put it into the stock market or whatever they want to do with that. They have little to nothing left over for that pursuit. So with that being said, they're saving money and by sacrificing common areas, but then having high quality, secure, safe, comfortable housing in their rooms and sharing the common spaces. It's an exchange that they're willing to make for the savings, that money, whether they want to spend that money eating out, ordering DoorDash, whatever they want to do with that food. eating good foods, traveling, concerts, saving and investing, whatever they want to do. They don't want to waste all their money on housing, or the vast majority of on housing and just living expenses. They're willing to sacrifice some comfortability, some independence with the way that they're living, to at least move out of their parents' house, to have lower cost housing instead of paying for an overpriced 1-bedroom or like a studio, if those are available in the market, so that they can then spend their money more strategically and intentionally than just housing. So that is a big part of who I cater to. I primarily leverage the pad split platform for a lot of my tenants, as well as we operate in markets that are not pad split markets. And we cater to kind of the same type of audience. Sometimes it's skewed more towards military, depending on if we're in a military location. We don't violate like fair housing laws and say, oh, you have to be military or this or that. But it tends to be based on your property location, the amenities, and all that kind of where you're marketing. That tends to then bring in more people that are of a certain type of audience that make more sense for that housing model. Sometimes people take it to the next level and have this community style one where there are hosting like events and like really emphasize the communal space and the community element of it. For me, that's not the way we tend to operate. As an investor, I don't think it's as scalable personally. And in my opinion, the people that we're bringing to our housing would rather pay a little bit less rent instead of paying more rent so that we can provide these additional community driven events and all that. They'd rather say, hey, I don't care about a pizza party. I don't care about activities you want to throw for me or whatever. I'd rather just save money and then just go do whatever I want with my friends and use that money for however I want, not pay you more in rent so you can do these things for me. It's kind of the analogy of like at your job, right? When they host a pizza party or whatever, like, could you not have just given me a bonus? I'd rather have that money or more time off. That's kind of how I think about it. These guys are adults. If they want to go get pizza or make friends or do activities and all that, I let them do that. That's up to them to do for themselves. Like, enjoy that. You're an adult, go enjoy that. Some people have the other model. There is no right or wrong. Everyone has their own pursuit. That's the cool part. You can do this a ton of different ways, whatever makes the most sense for you on your journey. So hopefully that answered your question in some extent of what co-living and group homes are. With your property in Montgomery, Alabama, you just have to figure out who is your main demographic that you're going to be serving to. I don't personally know. I don't invest in Alabama. So I don't know if, actually I wholesaled a ton in Huntsville, Alabama over 2020, 2021, stopped in 2022. But do I own anything in Alabama? No. So in Montgomery, you have to figure out who's going to be your main audience. Who are you catering to? Who is the housing you're providing to? And like, I don't have any information about like what your question is. I just know that you're trying to do this with a 9-bedroom, 4-bath house. Great. That's a perfect bedroom count for co-living to be successful. Perfect bedroom to bathroom ratio to make sure your tenants are comfortable and you're getting some premium rent for those that get a private bathroom. So like the property characteristics seem solid. I can't tell you right now based on your strategy if it's going to work well or not in Montgomery, Alabama, especially because I don't know like the zip code. You can leverage free tools like Pad Split. If you have not watched any of my free trainings or leverage the free tools on Pad Split on how to choose to see what's a good market, to see how many people are looking for housing there, how many units are currently available, what the average rental incomes are for shared bathrooms, private bathrooms, what percentage of average homes are occupied, like the percentage of rooms available are occupied, you're missing out. I just dropped my link in there if you are interested in leveraging that data and leveraging the free training I provide to see some of that information. You're more than welcome to do so. You have to be a member on Pad Split for that data. You have to be a host. However, you don't have to actually have any properties that you're currently hosting. You just have to create a free host account. You do that, awesome. You get a massive advantage in that sense. Cool. If there's actually, we'll wrap it at that. And this is where I'm telling you, this is a very uncomfortable thing for me to get bombed by negativity and all that. But I understand if my goal is to help as many people as possible on their journey to financial freedom, to help them get started or scale on their real estate investing journey. If I want to be as visible as possible and help as many people as possible, I want to be seen, right? People are going to see me. They're going to say whatever they want. At the end of the day, I have to understand that's a reality of it. It's very weird for it to happen in real time like this on a call, but it's very good for you guys to see exactly what I'm talking about. The majority of people out there are like that, unfortunately. Whether someone hurt them, whether they failed and think it's no longer possible, whether they just are negative people in general. That is an actual reality. That happens. That is truly what happens out there. Understand that. That's why it's so important to be in the right rooms of people who are doing what you want, especially at higher levels, so they can help propel you and push you forward. Because being surrounded by that level of negativity, constantly watching the news, which is pretty much just negativity to attract attention, right? Like that's literally what's there. So they make money as views. The most views come from negativity. It's the reason why a lot of content is negative out there. I want to be that light as much as possible to help people on their journey. Doesn't mean I do everything perfectly. I've done everything right. I know everything. Absolutely not. But I do know some things that have allowed me to scale. And I just want to help other people on their journey. And that's going to lead to more haters and negativity and this and that. Fine. But if you on this journey can minimize some of that by putting yourself in the right rooms, building the right relationships, friends, network, and not relying on just family, coworkers, and friends that you've had for decades who might be negative and naysayers because they don't think it's possible for them, which means they don't think it's possible for you, right? Like they don't believe in it for themselves. They're going to think it's not possible for you. And they're going to say that, and it's going to probably impede your journey or at least make it that much more challenging for you, right? So put yourself in the right rooms. Go to the free meetups. There's so many of them. There are so many free meetups all the time. There's a ton of free education. Pace has one. I have my Wealth to Real Estate School community, right? Absolutely free community with over 1,400 members in there. You are more than welcome to join and collaborate and work with other people in there on your journey. Hold each other accountable. Push each other to the next level. Take advantage of the free tools, trainings, resources, all of that good stuff. If you want to invest your money into education so that you can maximize your journey or free up some of your time or shortcut your path to success, you can obviously always invest in education that should do that for you. Make sure what you're investing in is in alignment with the goals that you want. Just because someone is paying a lot of money for ads and marketing, or they have a fancy car in their ads or whatever the crap that they're doing to try to convince you because their marketing is great, or I don't even know if it's great, but it's convincing you that, oh, maybe I should be part of this because they have these flashy cars and all that. Like, you'll never see that from me. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about materials. That's not a pursuit of mine. You'll see a lot of walking with my family, traveling, that kind of stuff, swimming in the pool, whatever, that kind of stuff. Awesome. Those are the things that matter to me. Those are things you'll see me share. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure whatever you're investing your money into, even just your time into, but especially your money into for education, make sure it is action alignment with the goals that you want. Don't get tricked by someone's fancy marketing or ads or whatever. Make sure that what you are investing in, the result that they're sharing with you seems realistic, seems possible, and it's actually what you want. A lot of people get stuck in the wholesaling and fix and flipping and whatever education that's out there, but that's not actually in alignment with the goals they want to achieve, which for a lot is to buy and hold real estate, achieve financial freedom and passive income, right? So that you can actually live life without having to worry about where your next dollar is going to come from. Make sure that if you're investing, you're investing in those things if that's actually the goal that you want. Get clear on what you want. Get clear on what you need to do, free, whatever. If you're going to invest in education, make sure it's the right thing. Don't just FOMO into things for the sake of it. It's the worst way. It's the worst way to decide what you're going to enjoy and be part of. Please. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. I just wanted to take this moment to just highlight some of the key takeaways that came from the mastermind that I was part of and the workshops that I've done for free webinars and all that for people. So do you want access to those webinars? DM me, let me know. Just go on my Instagram. Do you want access to the 3-hour training that I did for Owners Club at the Owners Club Mastermind? Let me know. If you think Super Investors might be the right fit for you, just schedule a time. I'll see if it's a good fit for you. And it'll be an interview, basically. Is this the right thing that I think makes the most sense for you where you're at in your journey? And then you'll decide, is this the right fit for what you're trying to pursue within your own life? I'm not the one to make that decision for you. It's up to you. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I love all the support. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Like you said too, let's pray for Aaron. Let's hope he gets the help that he needs, whatever that looks like. All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Have a phenomenal week, and I'll see you guys next week.